What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode in the bus build series. Thank you very much for tuning in today and watching this video. I want to remind you to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel before we get started. In case you haven't been following along on Instagram, then you may have missed some of the recent updates as far as what has happened to the bus. On my road trip up to Idaho, I had some engine problems. I was losing power, and trying to figure that out was the trick. We took it to the shop. They did a whole kind of overhaul on the fuel delivery system so that all the filters are now replaced. The sending unit has been worked on. The tank has been cleaned, as well as the transfer pump between the tank and the engine. So now fuel is getting properly delivered to the engine. Good news. Now, I did get all the way up to Coolin, Idaho, and this is my uncle's shop. He is a welder by trade, and we're doing a bunch of welding projects in the next week or so on the bus. Now, let me show you what we've got started already. Project number one is mounting a propane tank underneath the bus. My propane tank is here, and we've already started building some of the pieces that are going to hold it in to the underside of the bus. So let's show you what's going on. Here is my tank. It's got these big tongues, perfect for mounting pieces and hanging it underneath the bus. It's got a visual fuller empty gauge. This is the outlet to your accessories. This is an indicator as to when the tank is full, and then this is the fill valve. So you pull up to the gas station and pop a piece on there and fill it up. The plan down here is to mount a rail that goes between the two main chassis I-beams, and one side will connect there, the other side will connect here, and that angle iron is going to stick out here, and we'll bolt the tank to that angle iron right here, so it's hanging on those pieces that we're going to put in right in here on the up in here behind this edge of the bus. That's the plan. Ideally, we'll be able to cut a little trap door out of the side of the metal right here, and that's where we're going to be able to access those ports that I just pointed out. Ruben and I are working on getting the propane mounted. My Uncle Bill is in the back figuring out a fabrication for mounting a couple tow hitches in the back. When I say a couple, I mean he has suggested mounting two wide-wise so that if I build a bike rack or a little deck back there, then you can mount in is much more sturdy, not like a single point and rotational pressure as you're driving. And the third in the middle, indeed, if I want to tow a tiny trailer or a little something, that's what he's working on. So he's back here. So we're making good progress. We have most of all the mounting bits cut and welded, all except for a couple welds for the propane tank, and then that's going to be mounted and set hopefully by the end of today. In the meantime, while we're waiting for some of those to cool, because we just hit them with a bunch of welds, we're going to make a big platform basket thing for the bottom of the water tank, which ultimately will be held up by, you know, big pieces of metal that we put in there, but there's going to be a big platform underneath that holds the water tank. So we're going to build a big square platform that will rest on. So let's cut some pieces. It is the morning of day 2 here in the far north reaches of Idaho, and as you can tell behind me, it is rather cloudy. That combined with how cold it is, it makes it feel like winter. California winter. It gets way worse here, but whatever. Anyways, before I show you what we got to yesterday and what we wrapped up, I'm gonna make a quick cup of coffee so I can get warm and get energized, and then we'll show you what we got. So as far as progress over here on this side of the bus, Ruben and I got the 2 main rails bolted in that are going to support the propane tank. The propane tank is also bolted to them. It's not 100% finished because we got to take those rails out and paint them. However, those are the main framework rails by which the water tank is going to be held up as well. So today we have a little bit more mounting pieces to build for the water tank to catch up, and then we can paint all of those pieces and put them all in for good. That should be able to be done by today, no problem. So this basket that Ruben is working on right now, this is what the water tank sits in. It's gonna sit right there. All these tabs are just gonna hold it in there and keep it from sliding sideways and forward and backwards, while still leaving us room in these corners for the fittings to work, right? And that basket is gonna be hanging from these 2 rails, which are going to be supported by the rails that are in there already. It has come to the end of day 2 here in the week of welding. I guess that's what I'm calling it now. And propane tank and water tank are not under the bus, but that's okay because we actually made a lot of progress in several other areas today. But here's where we're at as far as the propane and water tank mounts. I have a whole bunch of primed pieces sitting all over the place. I just sprayed them just now, so they're still wet. Some of them are only half painted, but all of these are parts of the water tank basket and the propane tank mounts. This is the primed tow hitch, which we have finished today and adjusted the mount so that that's ready to go right back onto the back end of the bus tomorrow morning once we paint it black. But this thing is beefy and it looks so good too. I'm stoked about it. Look, here's a center mount. That's where you could tow something out the back with your little loops for the chains, and then here and here is where we can build whatever kind of back attachment you want, be it a bike rack or a storage rack for excess gear or camping supplies, you name it. We did spend a chunk of this afternoon talking about my roof deck and figuring out the design and the build strategy for that, as well as the build materials. Ruben and I did some practice with welding aluminum because the roof deck is going to be made out of aluminum, and Bill and I looked at the materials that he has on hand so that he's leaving tomorrow morning for the weekend, so that tomorrow and Sunday Ruben and I can work on building and designing the aluminum roof deck all on our own. So hopefully that goes well. Welding aluminum is a little bit more finicky than welding steel, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of practice to get ourselves nailed on that. But that's it for the end of day 2. Man, I'm filthy and exhausted, but we're making progress. We're making headway. I think 1, 2, 3 of 5 projects are nearing completion. 4th project, being the roof deck, is all conceptualized. 5th project, being mounting the spare wheel, has yet to begun. So that will come after the weekend. But that's it for day 2. Hopefully tomorrow we're gonna get some finished products up on the bus and then start working on project number 4. And that is it for this video. This is part 1 of who knows how many parts of this week of welding. So we're gonna see how long it takes us to finish these projects. But right now is the 4th day that we've been here. Today is Saturday and it was pouring rain in Priest Lake. So we went to a nearby town to hang out in a coffee shop, get warm, hang out somewhere dry where there's internet, and I got some footage. And after looking at 2 days worth of footage, there was this 10-minute video, so I decided to split this week up and give you guys a little bit at a time so you don't get hit with like a 40-minute video after a couple weeks of editing. So that is it for this video. If you liked what you see so far about this week, hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next coming parts that's gonna finish out this week of welding. Again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.